Hey guys, this is Charlotte, and you're watching Going In Raw.
Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steve and Larson. Available wherever podcasts can be found. And of course, taped live at the Twitch at twitch.tv/Steve and Larson. You like Going In Raw on the audio podcast app, whatever audio podcast app it is, you can listen to this show ad-free. That's right, without advertisements, without the commercials, without us talking about various awesome products that we push here on the show. You can get the show without all that stuff for $3 a month by going to goinginraw.supercast.tech. Or if you want some bonus content and you enjoy the show ad-free, you can get 2 bonus episodes every single week and the show ad-free by visiting us on the Patreon at patreon.com/Steve and Larson. And the bonus content I'm speaking of course, Thursday, we've got The Numbers Don't Lie with The Undertaker. And today, we're going to do a power rank, a figure. We'll look at the winners and losers of this year's WWE draft.
That
should be a lot of fun. We're going to be filming that live around 4 o'clock Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. Speaking of the draft, let's go over some winners and losers of the draft and just see how all this shook out. Last night, of course, was night 2 of the WWE draft. And so now we know where everybody's landing, what the deal was.
Almost everybody. There's some free agents still, so we don't know where everybody's landing, but most people.
Bailey, we don't know where she is. Asuka, we still don't know about. There's like a list of like 10 or 15 people or so. But we got a pretty good idea. Of course, after Raw last night, just like after SmackDown on Talking Smack, but after Raw, there was what is this show called after Raw?
Raw Talk.
Raw Talk, thank you. They listed off like a ton of more draftees where like some tag teams were split up, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at some of these. What were some of the bigger surprises from last night? Certainly Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins moving over to Raw. Bit of a surprise. What really shook you from last night?
I think the what surprised me most was kind of the lack of surprises. I had it in my head that it was entirely possible that Becky and Seth could move over to Raw. But, you know, there have been some speculation about maybe the Usos being drafted to Raw and then working out some sort of deal to bring the New Day, Kofi, and Xavier Woods back over to Raw to reunite with Big E. That didn't happen. I was kind of surprised there wasn't that many NXT call-ups, just a handful. And none of the veterans that we kind of expected to get the call were called up. I mean, Austin Theory, he was drafted on SmackDown. Last night, Xia Li, Ridge Holland. I was kind of expecting there to be a lot more NXT names involved in the draft. Didn't happen.
Yeah. Ridge Holland, surprisingly, who's like, you know, basically linked with Pete Dunne on NXT, was called up, which was surprising that we didn't get like actual Pete Dunne, who's been in NXT for like years now. Apparently, for some reason, was finagled into signing a new deal with the WWE to stay there in the cesspool that is NXT 2.0. So that's a bummer for him. Yeah. I mean, nothing was really shocking. I'm kind of curious how the women's title picture is going to figure itself out. So you got Becky, who is the SmackDown Women's Champion, on Raw. The Raw Women's Champion is Charlotte. So the most boring thing they could possibly do is
trade the belts.
Trade the belts.
Yeah.
When it was announced, when it was set up for Bianca to take on Charlotte last night, did you think, oh, they're going to put the title on Bianca last? You thought it was going to be a shit finish like it was.
Well, I didn't know if it necessarily be a crap finish. Did they even establish that it was a championship match?
Oh, did they not do that? Oh, I figured it was. Okay, yeah.
Oh,
no, you're absolutely
unless,
right.
Unless they do the whole presenting of the belt with the graphic, I assume it's not a title bout. No, I mean, Bianca's got the match at Crown Royal. If any title change is going to happen, it's going to happen at that show, not on a Raw. Yeah, no, I even if it was a title match, I wouldn't have expected Bianca to pick up the belt there. No. Mm-mm.
So how do you see this title picture shaking out then?
They're going to trade belts. They're totally going to trade belts. Because even if... So, The only way they wouldn't trade belts is if Sasha wins at Crown Royal, because she's actually on SmackDown. And then, I don't know, Charlotte would have to have a match sometime between now and the SmackDown after Crown Royal and drop the belt there. It just seems more likely they're going to trade belts. I just feel like they're going to trade belts.
I just feel like these days we're in sort of a thing where the reason why I felt like it could have happened last night, I mean, we've seen title changes happen on Raw before, and we're in this sort of era where they're trying to do, basically right now they're trying to appease Fox and USA. So when there's like a big thing that happens on where did the Big E title change happen?
Happened on Raw.
Yeah, it happened on Raw. So they totally do that now. Which is why I thought this could have happened last night. Bianca gets the title from Charlotte. Sasha gets the title at Crown Royal. And then you have the brands with the titles that they're supposed to have. So I thought that was a total possibility because WWE is totally hot-shotting things these days. They're just like, hey, we're going to do this thing. That's right. Yeah, he cashed in. That's right. So they're doing that these days. So I thought it was perfectly within the realm of possibility. But then they didn't. So yeah, I don't know. I hope it's not just that, but you're probably right. I mean,
they're probably just going to trade him.
Have they done that beyond? Because the Street Profits and the New Day did that last time.
Mm-hmm.
Has there been an opportunity in the recent, last year's draft, did any titles change shows?
Well, I'm trying to think from 2016 or since 2016. That's 5 drafts they've had.
Yeah. Because it's not like they traded okay, so Bray went to SmackDown with the red Universal title and then changed the color of the title. So they've done that kind of thing before where they'll belt swap. And so I'm hoping they do something like that this time around because the Street Profits New Day thing was totally lame.
Well, I mean, if they do that, then they're going to end up looking the same as they are now, where the SmackDown Women's Championship, the blue background will be made red, and the Raw Women's Championship, the red background will be made blue, and that's going to look like the belts already exist.
If Sasha wins it, if they do the thing where Sasha wins it at Crown Royal, she takes it back to SmackDown because that's the SmackDown title that's on the line.
Yes.
And then Charlotte will just have to drop it to
that's what I mentioned earlier. Yeah.
Bianca or somebody, yeah. So yeah, there's all that. Let's talk about this. Gable Steveson, a person who probably won't be wrestling in WWE for another year or two, has been drafted to Raw in the 2021 draft. Can this be a running thing where in the 2022 draft, he's drafted to SmackDown, but he still has never made his debut?
Sure.
And then the next year he's back to Raw when he actually debuts?
Sure, why not? I mean, it's you mentioned in the pre-show, it's probably just to get some mainstream news coverage of Gable, considering he is an Olympic gold medalist. Having him drafted to one of the main roster shows, I guess, is newsworthy. Also, I guess in the event that he picks up the pro wrestling business super quick, once he's done with college, if they think he's ready for the main roster, well, there's a place for him already, So, I mean, I was kind of surprised when I heard it happen. I was like, all right, yeah, I guess that makes sense. They're trying to already build him into the next huge thing. So,
if he's even remotely decent, he's going to be the guy that takes it off Roman, by the way.
It's entirely possible.
That's happening. They're going to try their damnedest. But it's all going to fall on whether or not he's got a personality.
Yep.
It's exclusive to that. Because otherwise, you can put Heyman with them, but it's I mentioned this on Twitter last night. I feel like Gable Steveson has 2 roads, Kurt Angle or Brock Lesnar. He can't be Brock Lesnar because Brock Lesnar's appeal was not just his legitimacy, but his freakish size and intensity. He looked like nothing. He looked like Rawgate Mutant back then. He looked like a monster back then, and Gable Steveson doesn't. He looks like a nice guy. If he's got the personality of a Kurt Angle, then it'll work. Because the wrestling will be fine. He'll learn how to pro wrestle. He'll learn how to do the matches and stuff. He'll be fine in that realm. But if they put Heyman with him and he still has no, and he has no personality, no TV charisma, it's going to be like putting what's his name, Curtis Axel with Paul Heyman, or once they put Cesaro with Paul Heyman. Cesaro's a hell of a wrestler, but it just didn't work. It's okay, who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah. But if he gets it, then they're totally going to try to make him into this huge thing.
Oh, obviously.
So also somebody mentioned this in chat. There are no more women's tag teams besides the champions.
That's correct. Tegan, Nox, and Shotzi were broken up before they ever got the title shot that it seemed like they earned at least 3 times. They got drafted to different brands, and then the team that was just champions prior to losing to Nikki and Rhea, Tamina, Natalya, they were split up too. I mean, I think almost all, save for maybe the Iconics, a vast majority of the women's tag team champions have been teams that have just been put together. That's just kind of what they do, WWE. And it seems like once a team loses the tag titles, they break up. More often than not. So it was a bit surprising. At the same time, we've seen the template. We've seen how they book the women's tag division. They'll just put another team together, or several teams together, to serve as challengers for Nikki and Rhea. And then eventually one of those teams will win.
Yeah. And then, of course, the rumor from yesterday, Finn Balor heading to Raw. That happened. Yeah. And he got kind of a big, he had like a little video package. They tried to make it seem like a big deal.
Yeah. Here's one thing I wish they would do with the draft. And they do at times, but other times they don't. Like Becky going number 1. Makes sense. Mm-hmm. SmackDown wanted to pick the Usos to keep with Roman Reigns. Makes sense. But I wish they would do this a bit more consistently where, if you're in a real draft and you have the 5th pick, you're probably not going to, unless you're like a playoff team already, you're not going to reach. You're not going to gamble on potential. You want a sure thing. And I feel like sometimes with the draft, there's people that fall, for example, Finn, who fall in the draft to the later round. Well, maybe he probably should have been taken a little bit higher based on his power rankings, if you will. You know what I mean? Like if you watch WTV right now, there's no way you would pick Kevin Owens above Finn Balor. You just wouldn't.
Yeah. Let's see here. I'm looking at the draft. So yeah. So it's funny because you mentioned that. Yeah. I mean, this made some sense, I guess. Nakamura and Boogs went.
You got your mid-card champions. You want they're champions. They should be drafted
right next
totally
to each
understand
other.
that.
Yeah. And then let's see here. Raw gets Kevin Steen. SmackDown gets Xia Li, and then the next round, Raw gets Street Profits, SmackDown gets Viking Raiders, and then Raw gets Finn Balor. And sort of, if they're theming things together, SmackDown then got Ricochet, which, by the way, is amazing for Ricochet.
That's
great for him because I think it takes him off main event. The show
probably. I think main event's a Raw branded show, right?
Yeah, it's like because like Garza was on there, Carrillo was on there. It was all Raw people on there. I think they film it with Raw.
Yeah, I think they do. They film it right before Raw, I think.
And SmackDown just has like dark matches.
I think so.
So that's great. That's great for Ricochet. I hate to say this, but Ricochet, he needs a gimmick. He needs a vocational gimmick, dude. Because it's the only way you get on TV these days. Vocational gimmick, or pair him with something but like not like in a tag team. Like put him with Finn. Put him with Finn and AJ. They really should have split up a different show. AJ and Omos.
He's on a different show than Finn and AJ now.
Oh yeah, you're right. Okay. So put him with who's on SmackDown now? Put him with don't put him with Mace. Put him with I don't know. Hey, you know what? Put no, I don't like that. I don't
Think about it.
Put him in Hit Row. Too many guys. Too many people. No, actually, it's not. He could be the mid card guy. Top Dollar and Adonis can be the
tag team. Yeah.
And then Swerve is the top guy.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's probably a bad move. Put him with Nakamura and Boogs. Have him be a guitar player. You know what would actually be sick? I'll be honest. I'm looking at this right now. A Ricochet and Jeff Hardy tag team.
That could be neat.
That would be rad.
That could be neat.
That'd be really cool.
That'd be one of those tag teams they put together and have their story. Can they get on the same page for several weeks and then they just take them off TV? Sort of like when Cedric and Ricochet were a tag team.
Yeah, that's what I want.
That lasted all of 2 weeks.
That's what I look forward to in my WWE. I love the tag teams that are put together and they try to figure out how to work together and they're taken off TV. That's my favorite.
Yeah, before you ever learn if they actually can work together or not.
Right. I love when they do that shit. Remember that time they had Tegan and Shotzi win like 5 championship contender matches? They never got a title shot.
They got nothing out of it. Nothing. They got split up out of it. That's what happened.
No Walter, man. What the hell? It's right. Yesterday we were talking about Walter heading to Raw. Didn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I really wasn't expecting that to happen, and probably for him, I'm happy it did.
Neither was I.
Because they wouldn't know how to book Walter.
Put Walter with Apollo Crews. I don't know. Anyways, let's just dive into this Raw.
Sure.
Becky Lynch opened it. She said, it's been a year and a half. Feels good to be back. There's a lot of talking in this opening segment.
There was a lot of talk. The one. I guess we really haven't talked overall feelings about the episode. The one issue I had with this episode of Raw is that it felt very disjointed. What the longest match was maybe 8 minutes, maybe 10.
Yeah.
I felt like there's one of those episodes of Raw where they try to cram as much stuff in there as they can. And the thing that kind of gets sacrificed is the actual wrestling of the show. I just feel like there wasn't enough wrestling. There's a lot of talking. I understand the draft stuff takes away from the wrestling aspect some, but there was just talking, draft picks, and then like matches kind of interspersed throughout.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was the draft. They feel like they need to do too much stuff. All right, let's see here. Kicked off with Becky. She says, so she just tells everybody. She's like, so here's the deal. Probably going to make a lot of executives unhappy by jumping the gun, but I'll confirm it here. The first draft pick for Monday Night Raw is Becky Lynch, me. This is my show now, and I'm still holding this title, but I was the longest reigning Raw Women's Champion, and I technically never lost that title, and the person holding it now, it's the last time I beat her, she's never been the same. And last time she beat me, I've been better than ever. So I think it might be time to be Becky 2 belts again. Of course, she's referring to the Raw Women's Champion, Charlotte. Charlotte comes out. The crowd's chanting, Becky 2 belts. And Charlotte says, let me remind you, before you beat me, you were Becky pre-show, which is actually really, that's a pretty sick burn, I'll be honest with you. She said, I made you famous, and you need to get over your inferiority complex. No matter what brand you're on, you're always going to be looking up to me because I'm the most decorated woman in WWE history. But it's a good thing you left SmackDown because we've got unfinished business.
This brings out Bianca. She says that she has unfinished business with both of them and that they both must feel threatened because they took cheap shots at her last week on SmackDown. And the way she sees it, neither of them are ready for her to become the EST of Raw because she goes here now. And Charlotte tells her to be quiet. She says, Bianca, you won the Rumble. You've been SmackDown champion. You main event at WrestleMania. You've almost done as much as I have, Charlotte has. Only thing she should be doing, though, is thanking Charlotte for paving the way for her. And then Becky chimes in, and she's like trying to antagonize him. It's like, oh, man, if I were you, I'd fight Charlotte right now after saying that. And she's like, oh, I wonder what happened if they fought, because it's never happened before, but did in NXT. Charlotte says, well, I only give it opportunities, not charity. And Bianca says she's got something to give Charlotte. Starts taking off her earring. She's ready to fight. Yeah. Adam Pearce, Sonya Deville walk out to the stage like, whoa, calm down. We got a great main event now. Bianca versus Charlotte. Also, we got a women's tag title match. Tamina and Natalya versus Rhea and Nikki. But first, U.S. title match. And so you think that's next after commercial. But no, instead we get the first round of the draft picks.
Jeff Hardy.
The U.S. title match was not next.
Yeah, Jeff Hardy got to come out. What was the next match? He got to come out and just watch the draft happen from the ring because he actually made his entrance. And they're like, no, wait, draft time. And I was like, wait, did I miss that?
Let's take a quick break here to get a word from our sponsor, Chime. So, Steve, I'm sure you know the feeling. It's the end of the month. Maybe you're a little tight on money, so you got to deal with the stress of your account balance running low. But then add on top of that the prospect of getting hit with that $33 overdraft fee if you happen to spend even just a little bit too much. You know, it's really enough to make you just want to pull all the hair out of your head and just stress and anxiety.
Yeah, man, I know. Overdraft fees have gotten out of control. In 2019, traditional banks took in, get this, $11 billion in overdraft fees. But we're here to tell you that Chime does things differently.
Yeah, Chime is an award-winning app and debit card that has saved its members more than $10 billion in overdraft fees thanks to Spot Me fee-free overdraft. Eligible members can overdraft up to $200 on debit card purchases and cash withdrawals with absolutely no fees.
Now you deserve to have financial peace of mind. Join the millions of Americans already loving Chime. Sign up takes only 2 minutes and does not affect your credit score. Get started today at chime.com/raw. That's chime.com/raw.
Banking services provided by and debit card issued by the Bancorp Bank or Stride Bank N.A. members FDIC. SpotMe eligibility requirements apply. Overdraft only applies to debit card purchases or cash withdrawals. Limits start at $20 and may be increased up to $200 by Chime. Chime member overdraft fee savings based on eligible members' use of SpotMe versus $33 average overdraft fee. Overdraft fee data based on Bankrate checking account survey and CRL June 2020 overdraft fees report.
All right, before we get back to the show, let's get a word in from our sponsor, Raycon. So there's a lot going on in the world these days, whether it's stuff I'm hyped for, like our 24-hour stream coming up later this month, or stuff I'd rather not think about, like NXT 2.0. So, Larson, you can't always control the vibes out there, man, but you can control the vibes in your head with a pair of Raycon wireless earbuds in your ears.
Yeah, whether I'm working or working out, pumping iron in my garage, or pumping up the tires on my bike, getting ready for a bike ride, my Raycons have been my go-to earbuds for on-the-go music and podcasts. And the new everyday earbuds look, feel, and sound better than ever.
They've got an improved look and feel and include optimized gel tips for the perfect in-ear fit. Plus, you get to choose between 3 new sound profiles to make sure that whatever you're listening to sounds its absolute best. Pure mode for podcasts and instrumental music, balanced mode for rock, and bass mode for hip-hop and EDM.
And Raycons offer 8 hours of playtime, 32 hours of battery life, and a built-in mic so you can take calls on your earbuds with a touch of a button while starting at half the price of other premium audio brands and sounding just as good. Raycons even come with a 45-day happiness guarantee.
Right now, Going In Raw listeners can get 15% off their Raycon order at buyraycon.com/raw. That's buyraycon.com/raw to save 15% on Raycons. Buyraycon.com/raw. So confirmed, Becky was not lying. Raw gets Becky. SmackDown gets the Usos. And for like sort of random picks, they'll go backstage and show people. Like, I think they went, the funniest one was when they went to like Damian Priest and he was just like, yeah. So SmackDown got the Usos, and backstage you see Heyman there and the camera kind of zooms in on him and he breathes like this heavy sigh of relief because he's not going to be left for dead like Roman said they would do that if they didn't go to SmackDown. Raw got Bobby Lashley, showed him like sort of anti-reacting to this. SmackDown got Sasha Banks.
Then we finally got the U.S. title match, Jeff Hardy versus Damian Priest. It's a fun match. Of course, Damian Priest got the win. That happened as follows. Hardy escapes a reckoning. He's looking for a twist of fate. Instead, he gets a bell clap. Eventually, though, he does hit a twist of fate, hits the swanton, but when Priest kicks out, he goes right into a crucifix pin to get the win. After the match, we get a Jeff Hardy interview. He tells fans he loves them. It's so good to be in front of the fans again. He's had the highest of highs, but also crashed back down to reality. He says going to SmackDown might be an opportunity to see a different side of Jeff Hardy, a different ego.
Itchweed.
Give people what they want. Give us Itchweed. Says, but he's still on Raw for a couple of weeks. And he's interrupted by Austin Theory. So he runs down the ring, and he's like, obviously, or acting like he's in awe of one of his heroes. He says, no disrespect. I'm Austin Theory. I got drafted on Friday on SmackDown. I'm here. My dreams have come true. I got drafted to Raw. I'm now standing in the ring with Jeff Hardy. You inspired me and motivated me. He says, I don't mean to fanboy, but can I get a selfie with you? And commentary is really playing up. This is like amateur hour now from Austin Theory. And so Jeff Hardy's like, yeah, fine. So Austin Theory takes the picture and then lays out Hardy with the clothesline, hits a finish on him, and then so Hardy's laid down on the ground. So Austin Theory, like leaned next to him, takes another selfie. So it's not quite the Austin Theory character we had in NXT, but I thought this was relatively entertaining.
I thought this was entertaining. As far as sort of, I thought this could have been a lot worse. Like if they basically try to make him the way he was in his previous stint on Raw. I feel like there is some continuity there between NXT and what we saw. It's just a little bit more of a vicious side, which I appreciate. He's going to be a bit more of a bad guy, which, I mean, maybe you could, if you wanted to put together the pieces on your own, say, okay, he learned from Johnny Gargano because Gargano is basically a bad guy. I mean, these days it's a bit different, but when he was with The Way, Gargano was basically a bad guy. So I like this. He showed a lot of personality. You and I at this point are big Austin Theory fans. His work with The Way really turned me around on the guy. So I'm looking forward to him. He does have a terrific look. He's got tons of charisma, good wrestler. He's super young. Hopefully they figure him out, sooner than later. And I feel like if he takes what he has, what we saw last night, and he just is able to really bite into something good, and I think that'll really help him early on. As opposed to just sort of, floundering a bit.
Yes. After that, we had an RK Bro interview. Riddle first talked about how excited he is to have Randy Orton back. That it's sweet they got drafted to Raw. And he asked Randy, hey, do you have a snake in your pocket, or are you just as happy as I am? All this stuff just to try to make Randy Orton laugh.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Anyways, so speaking of happy, he's happy to get some sweet revenge on AJ and Omos. Tells Orton, hey, you got that I just had some time off glow. Orton says, are you done? Riddle says he is. And he said, Orton says they have a chance to shut up AJ and Omos once and for all, but tonight is a special night in Nashville. He has a proposition. He challenges Omos to a match in Nashville tonight against the Legend Killer.
So we find out a little bit later if he takes him up on that. He does.
Yes.
Well, he actually wanted to, but it was just a trick. We'll get to that.
That's some commentary. Yeah, that was. Ugh.
Well, I mean, it kind of was, wasn't it? Like, well, we'll get to it when we get to it. Draft time. More draft time.
Draft time.
How did we do this yesterday? We had a very funny. It was amusing the way you were doing this yesterday. Oh yeah, it was this. You say what happens, and I say if it's a brand change.
Yes, that's right. That's right. All right, here we go. Round 2. Raw selects Seth Rollins.
Brand change.
SmackDown selects King Nakamura and Rick Boogs.
Same brand.
Same brand. Raw selects Damian Priest.
Same brand.
SmackDown selects Sheamus.
New brand.
New
Brand change.
Brand change.
I loved his render. He's all like hiding in his coat with that weird mask on.
Yeah.
I love Sheamus. I actually really like this for him. I have become, over the past year and a half, I've become a massive fan of Sheamus.
Full circle on Sheamus. He used to be a massive Sheamus fan because you had his theme song on your phone.
I really loved the theme song, and I liked him for like a really short period of time, but I didn't like him the way I like him now. This dude puts on matches. This guy is great in the ring, and I really like his new sort of shady persona. I really dig Sheamus. White Brownie here has a great idea. Sheamus with Ridge Holland under his wing.
See, that'd
be sick. I love that idea. That's great. So yeah, I think that's good for Sheamus. Dude, him standing up to Roman Reigns, but still being Sheamus, sort of with his coat on. That could be really good stuff.
Yeah.
I want that gold there.
Yeah.
After that, we had Shayna Baszler versus Dana Brooke. Now, this sort of had the internet a-talking because Corey Graves during this match was really oddly running down Dana Brooke as like, he said something, I'm paraphrasing, she's been at it for so long, hasn't done much, and needs to call it a day. Which just
that's
seems
basically
really,
what he said, yes.
It's like, what? Where do you get off? That was too much. That was way too much. She works really, apparently, from everything we've heard, she's one
of the hardest workers. Yeah.
Seems like a lovely person. She rolls with whatever crap they give her.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't get it. I did like in this match. So, wasn't Dana the first person to evade Shayna's arm stomp on main roster?
I love that they always reference that.
And they reference that again this match.
I do appreciate the two, because this is just them.
Oh, totally.
You know, this is Shayna probably saying, "Hey, you were the first person to figure this out. Figure it out again." Unfortunately,
and then Dana was working over Shayna's arm.
Yeah.
Anyways, though, eventually, after Dana escapes the arm stomp, she rolls up Shayna. That gets a 2. Shayna kicks out right into a cross arm breaker, and from there transitions to the clutch. Dana has to tap, so Dana rolls out of the ring. Shayna follows, stomps on her arm against the LED board on the apron, and is about to do the same on the ring steps like she has done the previous 2 weeks. Doudrop comes out to ringside. She keeps Shayna from stomping on Dana's arm, helps Dana up, and then Shayna blasts Doudrop with the forearm from behind, but Doudrop just kind of no-sells it, turns around, and they have a stare down.
I like this. Yeah, I like that she just was like, "What the hell was that?" Just tapped me on the back, That was good. Unfortunately, Shayna later on went to SmackDown, so we'll probably see this as a match next week, maybe the week after.
Yeah, they're being a bit fluid with these draft picks. Don't go into effect till after Crown Royal. They're being fairly fluid with the whole thing.
Yeah, I know. I don't know what happens in a match like this, though. Clearly, Shayna, I think, is probably an early favorite to win.
I think so. Yeah,
Queen's Crown.
Yeah, I could see that.
Queen's Crown. Yeah.
Yeah.
I could totally see that. But at the same time, like, they're obviously interested in keeping Doudrop strong. So if they do have a match, or maybe this is their way of keeping them strong, is just a little flirtation with violence,
with an actual match, but no match.
Yeah, but no match. Yeah,
but no match.
Yeah, that's how you keep them strong, by not having them fight.
No match.
After that, the Usos are backstage. Heyman's feeling pretty good about himself. He gets an interview, and he's like, "Yeah, my shenanigans means I'm not just the wise man and the advocate or whatever, the counsel to the tribal chief.
Special counsel, yes.
I'm the warden of the Uso penitentiary." And then Kevin, the interviewer, says, "Oh, is that how you've maintained Brock's status as a free agent?"
I love how he asked that question. I loved how he asked it. Loved it. So matter-of-factly.
Wow, that's a burn, dude. And so the Usos get pissed. They stare down Heyman and they walk off. And Heyman's like, "Oh, dear." After that, we had Ali and Mansoor versus the Humbertos Garza. Did you know that both Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo's real names are Humberto Garza?
I have been told that, yes. I have been told that.
I'm going to say that every single week.
No, you are.
I think it's fucking hilarious. Their names together are their both real names. And they both have the same real name. What is HR like when they do the payouts? Are they like, whoa, wait. Which one? It's like the Steve Brule gif.
Where he's trying to find the camera. Anyways, the Humberto Garza has picked up the win here. Carrillo is starting to show off a mean streak, playing up more of a heel than he ever has before. So the finish saw Ali go for a roll-up on Garza. Garza kicks out, and that sends Ali into the corner. While he's there, Carrillo slams Ali into the ring post, and then Garza just covers Ali for the win. So
Maggie says, "I promise you they use both last names, and that's how HR avoids mishaps." Their last names are both Garza. They're the same. I don't know if that's named the same person.
Hold on. I remember I checked that once, and they both have.
Oh, is that not? Don't burst my bubble.
So here it is. I believe Angel Garza's real name is Humberto Garza, whereas Humberto Carrillo is Humberto Garza Carrillo. That's according to Wikipedia.
Oh man, what? Damn it. Well, that in-joke's dead. Took it out of the woodshed.
Goodness. Anyways, round 3 is next, Steve. First, Raw picks AJ and Omos.
Same brand.
Next, SmackDown selects Shayna Baszler.
Different brand.
Raw selects Kevin Steen.
Different brand, but also it's going to be different company because he's going to go to AEW.
SmackDown selects Xia Li.
Call up.
Yes.
Yeah. Raw getting Kevin Steen is just so he can spend time doing a lot of nothing before he leaves the company. You think they're going to try to do like the last ditch attempt Have they tried to appease him yet to get him to stay, or are they going to wait till like a week before his contract's up?
What do they do with him tonight?
He didn't even talk.
No, because he was interrupted by Akira Tozawa, who wanted a match for the 24/7 title.
Yeah. So you think they're not going to do anything, or are they going to wait until like? Because I don't know when his contract expires.
I don't think they're going to do anything. I don't think they're going to do anything. They're going to say, "This is what we're going to pay you. Do you like these terms or no?" And that's going to be that.
They had a whole ass meeting with Adam Cole. They're not going to do a meeting with Kevin Steen?
Oh, they might, but I'm saying at the end of the day, it's going to be, here are our terms. Do you like them or no?
Well, yeah.
I don't think they're gonna go through. They're gonna try to really wine and dine Kevin Steen, because Kevin Steen's familiar with the company and they're familiar.
When Cesaro signed a new deal, they gave him a Universal title shot, and now they kept him on SmackDown. That's a bad move for him.
Yeah, they gave him a Universal title shot, and then he's more or less not been on TV since then.
Yeah, then they just isn't that crazy? They're like, hey, sign this contract, I'll give you a Universal title shot. It's like, okay, well, what do I do the week after that? And then the next 4 years.
Barely nothing. Nothing is the answer for WWE. They had nothing for him.
You think they
You're losing Seth Rollins. That's what you got to do.
Yeah, nothing. We're gonna do with you. Yeah, he likes the paycheck probably. Some big people probably generally like being in WWE. Get a nice paycheck. They probably have hella good catering. People find their happiness other ways, man.
No, I know. It's all whatever aligns to each individual's ambition. You know, been saying that for years.
Yeah,
saying that for years. Anyways, next we had a Big E promo.
He had to party.
Yeah, and that's kind of a huge thing too.
It's good stuff.
We had a Big E promo next. He says he'd be lying if this past week didn't meet him with some challenges. For the second consecutive year, the New Day were split up in the draft, and he also just had the most physically grueling match of his career. But he made sure that Lashley fell to his knees, and he, Big E, showed the world that he was a rightful WWE champion. He says, but in typical WWE's fashion, before I could even breathe for a minute, my next challenger came down. This man is no joke, two-time champ, swordsman, a legit swordsman. This man is Drew McIntyre. Before he wastes any more of our time, he says, Drew, come on down the ring. Drew obliges. Says, it's a Drew day. Yes, it is. Says, technically, I've been drafted.
I want to be Drew. I want to read some stuff. I don't want to read the Dolph stuff. I want to read the Drew stuff.
Oh, gosh. When Dolph came out, because remember we talked about this. We talked about that.
Yeah.
What would be the worst, what would be the worst first feud for Big E? And I said Dolph.
Yeah.
And this is why.
You know what? I legitimately groan when I hear, we're here to change the world. And then it's it has the weird, glorious key or whatever it is.
The piano bits.
It's the fucking weirdest theme song. Of all the theme songs to actually go back and redo into this weird remix, version of both of them, they actually spent time on that.
Give them a new song that's more fitting for they call themselves Dirty Dogs.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Why doesn't it start out with barking dog? Rub, rub,
I know. Then have some Motley Crue type riffs happening, because I think Dolph is huge in the Motley Crue and stuff.
Yeah.
You
Who
know,
Bobby Roode listens to country.
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
So yeah, Drew comes down. I love all this stuff. They're both so charismatic. He says,
totally.
Yeah, it's a Drew day. Yes, it is. And Big E's reaction to that. It seemed like he didn't know he was going to say that.
Yeah.
He says, so technically I've been drafted to SmackDown, but I have so much unfinished business here. He says, I was screwed out of my title. I've been waiting for a hero to vanquish Lashley, and here you stand, WWE champion. Most people would come out here and try to push your buttons, but I'm Drew, and I tell the truth, and the truth is you deserve to be champion. You've earned it. I want to look you in the eye. You've earned my respect. Congratulations. They shake hands. He says, but technically you did cash in on an injured Lashley, although he did the same thing to me. No one likes him, so you did the world a favor. He says, but the bottom line is this. Big E, I challenge you to a match for the WWE Championship. And then, we're here to change the world.
This is literally what I have written in my notes. God damn it. Why are Dolph and Roode coming to the ring?
Because here's the thing about Dolph, though. He totally does have a point. They put everybody with this guy.
He has a point.
Everybody with him.
That being said, if you want to get a championship reign off on the wrong foot, you have him feud with Dolph. That's what history has more or less told us.
Yeah, but this isn't going to be a real feud. Where did the Dirty Dogs end up?
No. They're on Raw. They're on Raw.
Oh, they're on Raw.
And since Drew got the pin on Roode or Dolph, whoever it was, doesn't matter, last night, Dolph could come out and say, and cut the same promo he has about 1 million times, and say, well, you didn't pin me, So I want you. I still waiting for my thank you. So give me a title shot.
He's gonna do that whiny voice that he does to be really irritating.
Yeah, for 8 years.
Yeah.
I used to really like Dolph. I think he is a good performer.
Dolph is like Miz for me. I don't miss them when they're gone, and they can do really good work. But more often than not, when I see them on my TV, I just think bathroom break.
There hasn't been a whole lot of character evolution from him. There hasn't been.
No,
he's more or less been doing the same thing for a decade.
Yeah.
And a decade ago, I liked it. Now I'm just kind of over it.
Mm-hmm.
And like creative hasn't helped him. Anyways, carry on.
I don't know. I mean, it's just like I don't know. You gotta be able to tell stories with people who've been around that long, and they just don't.
They don't. Anyway, so Roode talks first, says they're in the back waiting to hear when they're going to get drafted, and they hear the story unfolding. And Dolph says, yeah, Big E, you're inspirational. I'm proud of you. I really am. I even texted you, congrats. You left it on red, but that's fine. I'm behind you 100%. But I'm wondering why you forgot to thank me. And he says, well, I thought that might happen. So here I brought video footage. So you go back to 2013 when Big E was called to the main roster to be Dolph's bodyguard. He says, yeah, Dolph says, without me, there'd be no Big E, there'd be no New Day, there'd be no cash-in. And then Drew kind of sarcastically says, Dolph may have a point. And Dolph says, oh, Drew, you're next. And he takes credit for Drew's career, throws to more video. And says, all I ever wanted was a simple thank you. And Big E says, all you want is a thank you from us. And Dolph says, yes. So Big E and Drew, they discuss. And then Drew turns around, looks at Roode and says, oh, you've clearly upgraded from us. And Bob Roode, this is bad. Roode says, oh, you think that's funny? I'm twice the friend and twice the tag team partner that you ever were. He tells Big E that Bob Roode, puts the body and bodyguard, and they may call you Big E, but they call me Big Bob. Okay. And Big E just says, no one calls you that. No one calls you that.
That part was funny. He says, they call me Big Bob, which Big E's reaction was, he says, no one, literally nobody calls you that. And then Dolph yells back and says, don't disrespect Big Bob. That actually made me laugh because, yeah, nobody calls him that, but Dolph was like, hey, don't say that. I thought that was pretty fun.
So Dolph says, no, it's not about, this is all about me, and it's all about what he has done for them, and all he wants is a simple thank you. So again, Drew and Big E confer. Drew polls the crowd. Hey, should we thank Dolph? Of course, the crowd boos. Big E says they do owe you one thing, and that's an ass whooping. And then Big E challenges Dolph and Roode to a match against, just a handicap match. And then Drew says, no, I want a piece of that too. And so it turns into a tag match.
And Big E. He says Big E and Big D, which is pretty. And Big E's reaction was, I don't like saying this. I don't like saying this. After last night, seeing E as world champion in an element, mixing it up with other people, I don't hate that they took the New Day away from him. Because
it's not my preference. It's just not my preference.
I do feel like I'm interested in seeing him be established as his own guy as champion, not just as his own guy trying to chase a championship, because I wasn't a fan of that. Because I do think the New Day really should have been there for his elevation to top guy. I don't hate the idea of watching his journey as champion by himself.
I don't think they have to be split up for that to happen per se. They could all still be on the same brand and still have moments together, but it's not like they're always together. We look at AEW, how Pinnacle and Inner Circle are kind of coexisting these days. They're technically still factions. Sometimes they do stuff together, but not all the time.
If he ever finds himself in a numbers game, though, which sometimes you like to see your champion facing insurmountable odds, which in wrestling can often be a numbers game. Why would he not always have the New Day as his equalizer?
Because whoever he's feuding with, I imagine would have the numbers advantage to some extent, or at least equal numbers. Then you have the drama of, oh, it's fine, the New Day are going to help them. No, they've been taken out.
Yeah, but
Then
every
still has the
time
odds
they
stacked.
get taken out, I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm not saying it's not my. I'm not saying it's my preferred choice either, because I just know that the men behind the New Day like being around each other, and I understand that, and I want what's best for them, for what they want.
Yeah,
but
what I thought you were going to say.
mind.
What I thought you were going to say is you don't mind Big E having his first real feud against Dolph Ziggler, and I was about to quit the show right there.
Oh my God! What? Come on now. I would not blame you. I wouldn't blame you for that. Yeah, no, you can go join Wrestle Talk or Cult of.
I'm gonna go start a new show with Dan.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Going in Dynamite.
Going in Dynamite. That's good. Yeah, no, I really liked E out there on his own, mixing it up.
He's really good. He's really good.
He's really good, and I want to see more of that, as opposed to, I like the idea of him as a champion. Now he's got to fend everybody off that's coming for him, and he doesn't have the help that he had before. I'm interested in that story. Is it my preference? Maybe not, but I'm going to roll with it.
All right.
We had that match.
We had Roode and Dolph against Big E, Drew McIntyre. This might have been the longest match on the show, I think, and I still feel like it was under 10 minutes. The finish of this saw Big E evade a super kick from Dolph. He hits Dolph with a clothesline. He picks him up for a big ending. Doing so, he kind of takes a couple steps backwards towards his corner. Drew tags himself in, and Big E is not happy about it. So he just kind of drops Dolph, goes back to the corner on the apron. Drew hits a Claymore for the win, and so the match ends. They're about to have their arms raised. Roode runs into the ring. He eats a big ending, and so Drew picks up the WWE title. There's a little bit of a moment between he and Big E. Eventually, Drew gives the title to E, and then Big E. They don't have mics or anything. They just get camera audio, and Big E says, "If you want your match, I'll accept your challenge at Crown Royal."
DKC returns here in the chat, says you guys should hella rebrand as Going in Dynamite just to annoy people. Remember that for April 1st. We'll do that.
Yeah.
Backstage, Reggie is under the impression that Adam Pearce wants to see him, but it's a big ruse. It's a trap. And Pearce is like, no, I don't want to see you. And then Truth shows up. Like, the Viking Raiders are there. They they're not letting him through for some reason. And he's like, oh, I can't go through those guys. So then Truth tries to get him. He gets away. You got everybody. You got poor Riker stumbling around. You got Drake Maverick rolling it up in a cart. Everybody's trying to get Reggie. He's doing all sorts of crazy hops all over the place. He runs into Apollo and Aziz, and Apollo's all like, oh, no, I love to see you. You're great. And then he goes. And so he runs away, and then it goes back to Apollo. And he's like, see, Aziz, look at all the chaos that's going on here at Monday Night Raw. This is great. And I really like Apollo. I think he's awesome.
Yeah, I think he's great. Kevin Owens is next. He comes to the ring. You'd think to drop a promo or something before he can say a word. He's interrupted by Akira Tozawa. He takes the mic from Kevin Owens, apologizes for interrupting, welcomes him back to Raw. He says, I don't want to fight you. I want to fight Reggie for the 24/7 title right now. He gives Owens the mic back, turns his back to Kevin Owens. Owens turns him around, hits him with a stunner. That's all they had for Kevin Owens.
You can kind of hear him talk, but he wasn't near the mic. He was like, hey, sorry about that, dude, or something like that. But yeah, that's all they had for him. And it's like, wait a second. He just got drafted to Raw. It's not supposed to take effect until after Crown Royal.
And that's Friday. So he wouldn't even be on Raw until the Monday after.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Speaking of draft time again, Larson.
All right. First pick, round 4. Raw selects Street Profits.
Didn't get broken up. Same, different brand.
Different brand. SmackDown selects Viking Raiders.
Different brand. Change brand.
Yes. Raw picks Finn Balor.
Different brand.
And then SmackDown selects Ricochet.
One and only brand change.
Yes. Well, I mean, that whole round was brand changes.
The entire thing was brand change.
Brand changes. After that, we had Nikki, A.S.H, and then Rhea Ripley versus Natalya and Tamina for the women's tag titles.
Loser gets broken up match. Didn't know that.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Apparently. And then, as we mentioned at the head of the show, Natalya and Tamina got broken up because that means they lost.
Yes.
Another relatively short bout.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The finish got me kind of. So Rhea hits a riptide on Tamina, But apparently she was like, no, we got to do this together. And so Nikki like got onto Rhea's shoulders and she's like stumbling around up there, and then she sort of splashed her down for 3.
Yeah. And then we had more draft picks. Round 5, Raw picks, Karrion Kross.
Same brand. Who's good? Who else is supposed to hold down main event?
Ricochet's off, so I guess it's got to be Karrion Kross.
It's going to be his show now.
SmackDown selects Humberto Carrillo and Angel Garza.
Also known as the Humberto's Garza.
Yeah. Brand change.
Yeah, brand change.
Raw selects Alexa Bliss.
This was funny. Same brand, but they showed her picture and she's like crying over her ripped up puppet.
Yeah. And then SmackDown selects Cesaro.
Same brand. Catering selects Cesaro.
And then we got a Goldberg promo.
Oh, this is so fucking bad. I'm so over this shit.
This creative is awful. Like, if you look at this objectively, given how the scenario was booked at SummerSlam with Gage jumping over the barricade and attacking Bob Lashley from behind, Bob Lashley is in the right here.
I know.
He didn't know that was Goldberg's son. And if Goldberg wants to protect his son, guess what you tell him? Don't get involved.
Don't jump the barricade. This is like, this is one of these parents that like, oh, anything my kid does is great. And if he does something wrong, it's the other guy's fault. This is entitlement at its worst. And it's not shocking because Goldberg is super old. And you kind of get that in the super old generation. That's such a rude thing to say. I shouldn't say that. My parents are super old. They're hella cool. But it's totally in the wrong here. He's a piece of shit. Fuck Goldberg.
And then it's not
terrible.
It's not like he's just in the wrong here. He's using that as motivation to threaten murder upon Bob Lashley.
Right?
Isn't Goldberg supposed to be the good guy in this scenario?
He's supposed to be. Thank you, Lashley, for making it no DQ because now I get to murder you. Dude. This is fucking awful. And this son of a bitch is going to win, too. God, I'll pop so hard if they have Lashley win this.
Oh, I will.
I don't think they're going to do that. It's
not going to happen, though.
I will pop so hard if Lashley wins this.
Yeah.
So anyways, he comes out. He's already got like weird cat scratches on his face, which is weird. Lashley has the audacity to claim what he did to my son was a misunderstanding. It wasn't. It was intentional. So what, Lashley's supposed to know that some jabroni that jumps him from behind from the crowd is his son? Anyways, he says, so tonight I'm inviting Lashley to this ring so I can intentionally break his neck. Lashley comes out and he says, Bill, for the last time, what happened was a misunderstanding. And you must be out of your mind if you think I'm going to ruin this suit to whoop your ass again. Some of us aren't still dressing like it's 1998.
That was great.
He says, I know you're angry, but look at it from my point of view. You've been perpetrating this myth that I did that to your boy on purpose. That's character assassination. You owe me an apology. I'm going to give you the match at Crown Royal, and it's no holds barred, and you can bring your son along too. Goldberg gets all happy. He's like, oh, no holds barred gives me a license to kill. You think I'm crazy, and I am. You want an apology? I'll give you one. Like, Goldberg really thinks he's in the right here. Like, he thinks this is a hero's tale, and that just speaks to the arrogance of this guy. He can come into the company while the Fiend is on this great run, and it's like, no, I don't want to lose to a monster. Anyways, he says, I'll apologize to your kids after I leave your lifeless body in the middle of the ring gasping for air, because there's one thing for sure. You're next, and you're dead. And then they like play his music, and then Lashley's like, wait, hold on a second. He's like, you of all people know you can't kill the Almighty, and tell Gage if he has the balls to do the same thing at SummerSlam, it's going to happen again, or that he did at SummerSlam, it's going to happen again. He says, what would you do, Bill, if somebody jumped you from your back from the crowd, And then Hurt Business very belatedly attack, and Goldberg takes him out pretty easily.
Yeah. After that, we get a Seth Rollins interview. He's very excited to be back on Raw. And then Kevin's about to remind him that Edge was drafted to Raw too. And Seth's like, no, don't say his name. Don't say his name. This is a party here. Don't rain on my parade. We'll take care of that business on SmackDown. This is Raw. I don't give a shit who steps to me because I'm on a whole other level. It was great.
So gleeful and saying, I don't give a shit. I went back and watched it because
I'm so happy.
When we did our thing today, I was like, wait, he said shit, really? So I had to go back and watch. It was awesome.
He was so hyped to say shit. It was great.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit who steps to me because I'm on a whole other level. He was so happy. That was great. Then we got New Day versus Hurt Business. This was a pretty short match. New Day made pretty quick work of Hurt Business.
They were still selling their injuries to Goldberg, so they had kind of a. I guess.
I mean, 2 weeks of having the Hurt Business back together.
It's a bit underwhelming.
It is a bit underwhelming. We still haven't had any interaction between Lashley, Cedric, and Shelton.
Nope.
To any way kind of motivate why they got back together. None.
Nope. None.
No. So anyways, afterwards, Street Profits come. Xavier Woods got the win. Hit Cedric with the top rope elbow. Street Profits come down the ring. They want to congratulate the New Day. Dawkins helps them promote their new movie on Netflix, Escape from the Undertaker. And then say, hey, we want to congratulate you. And, hey, we're back on Raw. They want the smoke. And that was kind of it. It was all very friendly.
It was all very friendly. I was hoping that they would like turn heel or something or do something cool. They didn't.
It was just friendly.
Yeah. Let's see. After that, we had the RK Bro come out. Orton wants his answer from Omos.
This just felt like filler.
Oh, yeah, it totally did. Yeah. So Orton's like, I haven't heard your answer. Are you AJ's personal colossus or are you just a big bitch? AJ and Omos come out. AJ just starts talking, says Omos will destroy you. Do you think Riddle has any brain cells left from stopping us taking these titles from you at Crown Royal? I'm happy we've all been drafted to Raw because when we take them, we can shove them in your face and remind people we put an end to the asinine tag team RK Bro. And Omos gets on the mic. He says, hey, in regards to your challenge, and then Orton really quickly sucker punches AJ. Omos tries to get to him, but instead Orton's able to RKO AJ, and they go running. So commentary is like, oh, it was a big trap, just so that they could do that to AJ Styles, I guess.
Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Anyways, final round, night 2. Are you ready, Steve?
Yes, I am.
Raw selects Carmella.
Brand change.
SmackDown selects Ridge Holland.
Call up.
Raw selects Gable Steveson.
Signing.
There you go. And then SmackDown selects Sami Zayn.
Same brand.
It's close
They
enough.
never got to. Oh, maybe they could still do that. They have 3 weeks to do. Their 2 weeks to do the Ray Dom Sammy stuff.
Oh yeah, because they got.
I really like
Raw,
that.
right?
It seemed like it was starting something cool there.
Yeah, then we'll go to Raw and they'll do something else.
Mm-hmm.
Then we had our main event: Bianca Belair versus Charlotte Flair. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. Becky comes out, joins commentary. She was pretty fun on commentary.
Yeah, she was fun. She's good stuff.
That little poem or whatever she had that she did.
Yeah, this is a fun match. Charlotte and Bianca sort of countering each other quite a bit. In the end, Bianca kicks out of a spear. Charlotte kicks out of a KOD, and then she gets hit with the second one. And Becky pulls Bianca off the pin for the DQ win or loss or whatever there. I guess Bianca got the win.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like what happened at the last at Extreme Rules ended up being a no contest. So I guess it was a no contest. Sasha came out and attacked Bianca.
Yeah, I wonder what the specifics on that was, because I was wondering because Sasha did attack both people. It was just in a certain.
It should be whoever gets hit first should win by DQ. That's what it should be.
I agree, but maybe what you would like to say. The rule book is a sketch pad.
Yep, it is. Yeah. It is. So anyway, Sasha, she showed up after the DQ and just beat up everybody pretty much.
Yeah. Let's answer some questions. What do you say?
Sure.
All right. First up from Pop Punk Bob Ross. If NXT 2.0 is supposed to be about building talent from the ground up, then what is the point of drafting Gable Steveson to Raw, especially when he'll probably be a part-timer his first year due to competing collegiately? I'd be surprised if he's even on TV in his last year of college, to be honest with you.
I would definitely be surprised if he was on TV before his wrestling season ended.
You know what would be cool? Oh, so I guess, yeah. It'd be cool if they kept tabs on him, like on Raw. Like, do a really well done little documentary on his training. Let's
His progress,
get to know the guy.
Yeah.
If we get to know him and we get to know his story, maybe by the time he shows up, we'll be pulling for him already. When he steps, I mean, look, about the first year, we get to see all this great sort of building of the man thing, right? And then he gets drafted to SmackDown, where he can then confront the tribal chief, Roman Reigns. Something. I don't know.
Victorious with the sub. Thank you. Oops, sorry. Says, I'm not familiar with Itchweed Jeff. What's that character like?
He looked like a crazy dude. I'm not even really familiar with him. I just like that he was. No, I'm thinking of Willow. Itchweed was he was more the country guy, right?
Itchweed. The little video thing they had, like the funny voice saying, Itchweed.
Eddie Brock.
It seemed like Jeff was just thought it was funny and did it. That's why I liked it.
Yeah.
Because so much like Willow is, you could tell, was something that he took very seriously.
Yes. Right.
And then with him being Jeff Hardy, he kind of goes back and forth between taking the character seriously and seemingly have some amount of sense of humor about himself. Itchweed was just, I think this is funny, so I'm going to do it.
Yeah, goofy shit.
It was goofy. Kyle, on the subject of Jeff Hardy, Damian Priest pinned him in the exact copy and paste move that Triple H did to Hardy at No Mercy 2008.
Oh, that's interesting. That's cool. Let's see here. Anthony R. Is this the year the titles get unified? No. No, that's not going to happen. Aiden O'Connell says, brand new patron. Thank you very much, Aiden. Says, love your podcast, guys. So who do you think were the missed NXT stars that could have been called up to Raw or SmackDown? Man.
I mean, I feel like they've been better off if they had brought up Pete Dunne rather than Ridge Holland.
Agreed. I don't care if he's champion. I wish they would have called up Tommaso Ciampa. I think he deserves it. I think I want to see him on a big stage. I think it'd be great.
I think basically all the veteran talent in NXT, I'm pretty surprised that none of them got called up.
You have Kushida. Bring him up.
Yeah. I don't get it. And that makes me think, all right, how do these wrestlers then fit in to NXT 2.0? And if they don't, what's next for them?
Yeah.
The real Chestnut, what kind of shakeup does the women's division need? They have amazing talent and personalities, but it seems like they can't do solid storylines outside of the title pictures. I mean, that's what it is. It just takes having interesting creative outside of the title pictures.
Yeah. Yep. Rich, with Woods screaming, "Give me the crown" to the camera after New Day's match. Is that a lock that he wins King of the Ring, or will they do the WWE thing and have him lose in the finals? I think that Woods will be able to take. Yeah, he's not going to win, but I think he's going to take his path there and make something really good with it. He's really good. The New Day are really good at sort of making something out of not a whole lot. They've been doing it for years. And so I think that he'll probably have kind of a cool run that will end in heartbreak, but it'll make it hopefully all the better when he does eventually win it, if they even decide to keep doing it, which they probably won't.
They should have him do it, though. They should have Xavier Woods win. If not this year, the next year. If they're not going to have him win this year, make a story out of it, you know?
I agree. I totally agree. I'd love to see it happen. Oh, here we go. Moses opposes. Is there any chance that Reggie's 24/7 storyline actually has an interesting payoff, or someone just finally roll him up? No, it's not going to have an interesting payoff, and it's not going to be, somebody's going to roll him up. It's going to be used as a big punchline. So, like, it's going to be some celebrity they bring in. Maybe it'll be Logan Paul. They'll do something where they will use an existing comedic storyline and they'll merge that with the 24/7 thing with a roll.
Probably.
That's what it'll be.
Probably.
They always do that kind of stuff.
Jimmy Thomas says, how does Goldberg plan to leave Bobby lifeless and gasping for air? Which is it?
Yeah, it can't
be lifeless. And I guess by definition, you can't be gasping for air. If you're gasping for air, then you still are holding on to life. Yeah. I don't know.
Okay, here we go. It's an either or. Wolfpack Prince says, since Finn Balor's been drafted to Raw, would you rather him and AJ Styles have a feud or join forces and start a new Bullet Club?
Feud, because I don't think they have any idea of how to do a new Bullet Club well.
I say you do both. You put them together. Don't do a new Bullet Club. I mean, look, if WWE decides to do a faction of like 6 people, I'm all about it. I think that's fine. A faction's very easy. You just put a bunch of people together. You give them a really cool logo and a cool shirt, and then you have them win a bunch. And then you have a faction. You have people. You have something that people like. It's really easy. It's shockingly easy.
You think it's easy?
Yeah,
but that would be.
But there's got to be a reason why. You're wrong.
You're wrong. They made it up.
Are you collecting your channel points right now, dude? I'm up.
No, there's too much stuff going on before we got rolling here that I didn't get a chance to get up. I was like 1,800 yesterday.
Back up to 2,500.
Well, congratulations. Have fun losing them all next time you gamble. White Brownie with the draft over. Are both brands balanced, or do you guys feel one brand still has a bit more? I feel like SmackDown actually lost a lot. They lost Seth, and they lost Becky, and they also lost Big E. I know they got the New Day back. They're great, and they got Drew over on SmackDown, and Charlotte. I don't know. I mean, I guess.
Okay, so yeah, in terms of people to fight Roman, so okay, right now he's got Survivor Series will be him versus Big E.
Mm-hmm.
Crown Royal obviously is Brock. Come December,
we thought it might have been Seth, but obviously not. So it might be Drew through the winter.
Yes, it's totally going to be Drew. And then after that, you have guys like Sheamus.
Mm-hmm.
You've got.
I just felt like there was more people. Like SmackDown lost a lot of would-be contenders for Roman.
Ricochet could be an episode of SmackDown.
I was going to say.
He could be an episode of SmackDown.
I mean, he should be a heck of a lot more than that, but they're just.
It should be a multi-month feud. Maybe around. Well, that would be Drew. Maybe after WrestleMania. Well, yeah, after WrestleMania. After WrestleMania. Hit Row. Because what do you think is Roman's WrestleMania match going to be? That could be Drew.
Maybe. I mean, Jeff Hardy's over on SmackDown. That's a month feud he can have against Roman. Maybe.
Yeah, that's a good episode of SmackDown right there. Hey, what do you make of Veer getting split from Jinder and Shanky?
They're obviously pretty high on him. Everything I've seen from an in-ring perspective, he's super athletic. He's fun to watch. I'm really interested to see what he can do by himself. Now, will he be given the opportunity to develop and showcase his skills? Who knows? But I'm intrigued.
So these tag teams here on SmackDown, Hit Row, Mansoor and Mustafa Ali, New Day, the Usos,
Viking Raiders,
Humberto's Garza, and the Viking Raiders.
Yeah, the tag division on SmackDown is really good. Yeah,
that's a hell of a tag team division.
It is really good.
What's going on over on Raw in the tag division? You got the Street Profits.
You got
Alpha Academy,
Bro, Alpha Academy,
Bro,
Hurt Business,
AJ
I guess.
Moss, Ray and Dom. God damn, that's like a lot of thrown together bullshit, isn't it?
Yeah,
like 80% of their tag teams could just split.
And highly likely they will.
Yeah, right.
No, I feel like Raw really bolstered in terms of the top of the card, the men's division, obviously SmackDown. They got a great tag team division now. Raw's, as you mentioned, just kind of all put together teams.
Yeah, Raw has Big E, Edge, Seth,
Lashley.
Well, of course, Lashley. They really should split Ray from his kid because you get Rey Mysterio. He could headline anything.
And you still got Keith Lee there. You got Kevin Owens if he stays. You still have
of
Orton.
Course, dude. AJ Styles could split from Omos. I mean, yeah, all those. Yeah, that's the thing. All those tag teams, they're all headliners.
Yeah,
Riddle, Orton, AJ.
But in terms of like opponents for Roman between now and the end of the year, you got Drew, Hardy, Sheamus.
Boogs might take that title off Roman. Anyways, Twitch chat, stick around. We're gonna raid somebody. Boogs or Big Bob. So yeah, we'll do that. Wait, where did the Dirty Dogs end up?
They're on Raw, man. We already had this conversation.
I'm here to show the world. Yeah, Von Wagner.
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
That
We'll
was
talk
piano.
later.
Bye.
I know. That's why I laughed so hard. It was funny.